Have nothing better to do until the gym, so here goes. This would be better posted on X, but Be me, 7-year-old in 2003. Live with mom and dad in the city, but we are originally from a rural as fuck town out in the plains in Tellerman. Visit grandma for the summer at her 1-story old peasant-like house like I do usually. Have great fun with the other kids biking on the plain, swimming, and almost drowning in the Danube. 2 weeks in my summer vacation. Grandma's cousin dies from a heart condition that she had for some time. The whole village is distraught. Older folk remember that she was born with the right condition to become a Moroi after death. The local superstition, at least in my area of the country, I hear it varies, says that if a child is born with an umbilical cord wrapped around its neck, it will turn after death. A tad silly if you ask me. Grandma's cousin was born like this, and the older people in the village were losing their shit that she needs to be staked before burial or she will turn and come for her relatives. Grandma and her cousin say fuck no because it's barbaric and we live in the 21st century. Another tradition here is to keep the deceased body for 3 days before burying in the house. Don't ask me, I don't know why. It was during this that shit started to become eerie, that even me, a kid who was playing around all day, started to pay attention to what the fuck was actually going on. Now, a quick disclaimer before I continue. I was 7, didn't understand much, and the whole village, in the year of God 2023, still doesn't have proper electricity and running water. So, you can imagine what kind of people and what kind of mentality they have there. But even looking back in hindsight, as an adult, I still can't help but shudder at how many coincidences that happened to be similar to folklore that happened. One day, after the priest did the ritual for the deceased, my grandma's other cousin, sister of the deceased, comes to our home scared out of her mind. She says that she went back home the previous night. The body was not there, so she went into the yard to go look for it. She even called on her neighbors for help, and when they went to go recheck the house, it was back. She also says that she has dreams of her deceased sister. Both my grandma and her go to the priest and decide the fuck tradition and do the burial early. Old dudes and babushkas are like steak, but they still refuse. 3 days after the burial, things are okay. I'm having fun, and one night I invite my village friends home to play. Grandma goes to sleep early and we continue to play, even if it's 9 and it's getting a bit darker. We decide to listen to the radio. Suddenly, I see the cupboards in the living room starting to shake a bit. I think, oh no, an earthquake, duck. The thing is, only the cupboards are shaking, and it's getting more violent. Dog is barking like crazy outside. Forgot to mention it started barking ever since the burial for whole nights, and Grandma was tired of it. I hear the pots we use for cleaning and the brooms falling over outside. The windows start to vibrate. Now, looking back, I was a dumb kid, so I wasn't associating these bizarre happenings with actually being haunted. Me and my friend were more perplexed than scared at first. Then, it gets real. The barking reaches a crescendo, and then I hear our fucking dog, some mutt wolf shepherd, fucking fighting something outside the house. It gets quiet. Now I'm actually shitting myself. .jpg. Think some animal killed our dog, and has to be pretty big to do the mud in. Oh shit. .png. The fucking cupboard starts shaking, it falls over. My friend fucking loses it and takes off. I do the same, leaving my sleeping grandma alone and running to my friend's house like a little bitch. Yup, looking back, not proud of that one, 7 or not. I return the next day after sleeping over. Our yard is a mess. I meet grandma, who says that she needs to take a tool, named after the big river, our dog, to the vet because it was injured. It has shallow teeth and claw mark injuries, and the windows from the living room got smashed in. At this point, even I as a kid realized how serious the situation is getting. Not even 2 days later, my great auntie, the sister of the deceased, is now haunting us. Falls very ill. They take her to a regional hospital where they keep her, because apparently she caught some sort of respiratory disease suddenly in summer. Unlike her sister, she was really healthy. Another few days pass, and news are not good. Her condition is deteriorating fast, and the doctors don't know what the fuck is going on. The old people in the village say that it's her sister trying to take her to the other side. Insert medieval Romanian moment in the year of God 2003. The whole village is summoned. All the important men, the priest, the school teacher, the mayor, and the police officer. They have council in the local gymnasium. I would later learn that they did this because everybody needed to keep their mouth shut, since what is about to happen is, to nobody's surprise, illegal. In the middle of the day, they gather a posse, no torches and forks since it would be a tad silly, only shovels. take a few sharp steaks, and go to the cemetery. Me and the local kids follow, even if the adults tell us off. They dig up my dead and now decomposing relative, break the lid of the coffin, and the priest starts chanting Orthodox prayers and chucking holy water while two men fix the stake to hammer it in. When it goes in, I hear like a balloon popping and losing air. A few seconds later, we all hear. I asked my friends and people that were at the scene at the time if they also heard it, and said yes. A long, thin, piercing wail that seems to come from everywhere and nowhere. Not an animal that I know. They bury her again, with the priest doing the prayers and the rituals, and head back. Not even 2 days later, my grandma's cousin turns up, having miraculously recovered in no time. The local folklore legends are reinforced. Years had passed, and I forgot about the experience until a friend in college mentioned something similar happening in his village. The same full course, only this time being in the late 2000s. Nobody wanted to do the ritual, and the Moroi's victim was getting closer to death, even in intensive care. Again, respiratory problems. So a lone villager went during the night and staked the fucker, and in a week, the victim recovered. Now in this case, not having the support of the community, he actually faced charges, because unearthing and mutilating a corpse is illegal as fuck. The TLDR is that unfortunately the actual folklore vampire are not cute girls that want to suck you, but dead relatives seeking company in the afterlife. The modern vampire is from Bram Stoker's Image, and he took inspiration from even older pulp writings that may or may not be inspired by Vlad the Impaler. Still, looking back at the series of events, they are really strange even if you don't have a drop of belief in the supernatural. It's easy to see how rural, isolated people would produce these kind of stories from a few too convenient, bizarre coincidences. Both Grandma and her cousin are still alive to this day, by the way.